But now we're live. All right, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. Time for another episode of your favorite Android show, Attack of the Androids. Ooh, I should adjust my microphone. Can you guys check while we're live real quick?
Check. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, you, Eric. You're...
Checkity check.
Check. I forgot I was recording. So is that good? Am I good? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. We were doing some rap music this weekend, and I had to mess with the levels. Check. Okay.
I know how that is.
Is this on? I know. You're like rapping every day out there. I know how you know.
True that.
For centuries, we've been warned about little green men.
Now, they are coming. They're coming for you. Run. But first,
Shut your windows!
hide your apples. Prepare for the attack of the Android. And now, your host and the human leader of the Android Underground, Matt Lee.
What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, May 27th, 2014. This is episode 125 of Attack of the Androids. Every week, Tuesday night, right here live, attackoftheandroids.com. Check it out. I'm Matt Lee. This guy right here with the shaggy do-rag, that's Eric Finkenbiner. What's up, Eric?
Not much, just drinking my tea, which tastes like it has cumin in it, which just kind of pisses me off.
What time is it there? Just
it's going on 5 a.m.
Nice.
So I'm gonna be really happy, and it's gonna be a good night, good day.
Anytime you're podcasting is a good time. Also joining us, Nick Carroll, back again. What's up, Nick?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good to have you back. Also on an amazing time. Am I the only one who like gets to kick it like after work? It's like 7 p.m. just relaxing. I feel bad for you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
So it's an Android show, but I am kind of curious about this. We wanted to talk about it last week, but we ended up, it was a birthday of my best friend roommate, so no show, but we're back. You have been using a Windows phone, and I actually have a friend that has a Windows phone, or he had one, and it was one of the original, the Lumias or whatever, so he wasn't that into it, but tell us about your little experience.
Yeah, I got the Lumia 520, and this is the $80 phone that you can get directly from Microsoft. I used it as much as I possibly could. This is quite possibly one of the most horrible phone experiences I've ever like used, experienced, whatever. Like it's so out of the box, I mean, it's unusable. You can't hook your Gmail account up to it because I don't know if folks remember I think it was a few years back, maybe just one or two. Google, I think, removed Exchange support.
Yeah.
And there's no support for hooking up your Gmail account through IMAP, like a normal effing phone service. So no Gmail account. That's a huge killer on there.
What do they want you to use? Windows Live Mail, obviously?
Yeah, and even that was difficult to set up. Like I went out,
account if you're like at Hotmail.
It was really, that experience sucked. And then there's quite literally no apps. Like it seems like there's fewer apps than when I joined Android.
Well, and wasn't that always the complaint? But people are like, there's not as many, but all of the ones you want to use are on there by now. That was the problem at first, right? They didn't have, D for apps.
Yeah, they have some third-party versions of some of those apps. Like, Google pulled the YouTube app off there a while back, but there are like YouTube app clones and other things like there. But the actual built-in like Exchange support that you would get on, say, an Android phone or an iOS phone just wasn't there. So
and that's some continuity with the old school version of Windows Mobile. I was on Windows Mobile 5, and I had to get a third-party YouTube app. So, you know, I feel your pain.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is a really low-end phone. Mike on Yats also got the same phone. He got one of the variants of the 520, and I mean, it's better than nothing, you know. But the problem is, there's so much better out there, even in the Windows ecosystem. You know, it's like I don't think it compares to the Nokia X. I don't think, you know, that's out now.
And Mike was like a recent convert to Android. He got an Android phone at some point in the duration of when we were doing Yats. Like, he switched to that. So it's not like Eric, where you've been on Android for this whole time and now you're forced to use it. Like, Mike knew, and he still, you know, it still wasn't all that great.
Well, the operating system, I mean, I'm not even complaining about the hardware, you know. It's the operating system itself is just lacking. And the only way that I could make it usable, and I emphasize this, usable, because things just would not work. It was buggy as hell out of the box. And I spent like an hour just searching how I could make this better. And
By
Windows 8
new phone?
well, I mean, that was the first option. The other option would be to download the beta version of Windows Phone 8 directly from Microsoft and install it.
Well, what's
And
this one running? Sorry, what is
Windows
this
Phone 7,
still?
7.2 or something like that.
And that's how it's coming shipped right from the store, like from Verizon or whoever you got it?
Yeah, because Windows Phone 8, or at least that version, I may be misquoting, maybe it's 8.1, but it is not available yet on these phones. Like, it's not officially available. What you're doing is you're opting into basically the beta through Microsoft. But like, just some of the buggy weird crap is like, it would download the update and then it would sit there at 99% for 20 minutes.
Nice.
And then I'm like, oh God, I broke this effing phone.
It's like, do you unplug it? Do you wait? Do you unplug it?
You wait.
You have to, right?
And you're Googling around and people are just like, you just need to be patient. Just give it a minute, whatever. Give it 20. And
give it overnight. Come back in the morning.
It's horrible. So I mean, we don't have to spend a lot more time on this. I just wanted to get out there and see what else is happening, especially with Windows Phone, because I feel like it really does not get enough
coverage. There isn't a Windows Phone podcast. That's for sure. Is there?
And now I realize that there's a reason. I feel like I'm an Apple person being snobbish about Android back in the day, but I mean this thing just sucks. It is horrible. Even the user interface, which is kind of pretty, it's really just a pain in the ass. It's not a good experience, and I would never put anybody through actually having to use it.
Well, I know the OS is lacking some features like a notification menu. I think that comes in Windows 8.1.
It does. So, yeah, I have to say the Windows 8.1 update, huge improvement. Like huge, but it's still not there.
Well, let me ask you,
another year.
Is it where Android was for the amount of time that it's been out? And is that why they're struggling to get their system refined? Because of course it's Microsoft, you know, it's Windows, it's not a bunch of open source stuff all cobbled together, you know. I'm kind of curious if maybe that's why. And if you compare the Windows Phone you have now to an equal Android phone of that whatever year that would end up being, like if it would be the same experience, just kind of frustrating, or did Android never have the kinds of problems you're seeing on this Windows Phone? Like, are they just different problems, or what? Because Android's always been account-centric, right? And that's one of the problems you said you're having, is you can't even get an account in here. Like, is that not a main part of Windows, or what?
I think they're trying to be account-centric, but even with using the Outlook account, setting it up fresh, it is not a good experience.
Yeah, it just hasn't been evolving as quickly as Android has been, and it hasn't gotten the support
that Android has gotten. Is that the open source versus the closed ecosystem? Because Apple and iPhone evolved just fine being closed. So what's the excuse, I wonder?
Well, it's just there's been so few adoption of the Windows Phone OS essentially onto phones. There's really just been like Samsung, HTC, and they only sell a very small fraction of phones, and then Nokia, of course. So you know, there's just not much out there. You know, there's not as many phones, Windows-based phones. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, to Nick's point, I think they are evolving slower than Android did at this point. I mean, trying to think back, this would be like Froyo, maybe Gingerbread territory.
That was usable. I mean, for me it was, at least. I don't know. We were rooting and wronging like there was no tomorrow back then, right? But it wasn't like I hate this and I have to find something else. It was like, this is cool, this has potential, and it's getting cooler and better to use and more efficient with each update. And you could see the progress, right? You're saying like this is just a stale. Do you see it going anywhere? Is this going to get killed, or what do you think? Is it that bad?
I see. Well, I think that once they get rid of Windows Phone 7, like this update to the Windows Phone 8, I think that might be that might hold people on. Like people that were like, oh, this really sucks, I'm just waiting for this update. They might stick around because they've learned to deal with it so far.
Right.
This could be, Windows Phone 8 could be like their gingerbread or their honeycomb moment, where it's like that precursor to something really good.
Right.
But I'm not convinced, and it's like, even again, I sound really snobbish, but like even when I'm in the App Store for Microsoft, I don't want to download anything because they look and feel like the types of apps that I avoid on the Play Store because I don't want to get a virus.
Because you're not used to having to deal with third-party apps like that, right? You're seeing things that would in the Play Store because there's an official version. More times than not, it's going to be malware or something shady, right?
Well, there's like misspellings, like the icons look like crap. It's those things where you just look at it and say, I don't think I want to put that on my phone.
Nope. So what's your give us some final thoughts on this so we can finally move on. Are you going to stick with it? Do you have to stick with it, or what are you going to do?
I don't have to do anything.
Was it a good experiment?
Was it a fun experiment? Did it make you appreciate Android this much more, or what?
It did. It's a fun experiment. I would do it again. I'm going to keep the phone, just so that way I can do updates and just throw a SIM card in there every now and then. But I'll be honest, if Android died tomorrow, I would sooner switch to Ubuntu phone than I would to Windows phone.
Nice. I'd go Tizen personally, or Firefox OS, but yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Nick, any final thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I would probably even consider going iPhone, but that
I
hope
guess
it never gets to that. Let's hope it never gets to that.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Attacking the Androids. I'm gonna go kill myself now. That's cool. Let's see. Did you guys you saw this? Spotify had a little breachy in its data, urging people to change passwords, to uninstall the app and stop using Spotify. What are we doing here? Unauthorized access to our systems and internal company data, a blog post wrote.
We're pretty much running out of companies that haven't been hacked. I mean, they're pretty much all being hacked at this point. Jeez.
And the ones that they just haven't said anything or haven't noticed yet, right?
Yeah, probably so.
All your data is everywhere all the time. I mean, that's just physics. I mean, I don't want to speak out of phase here, but that's physics.
That's just science.
Shit is happening all the time, everywhere. Doing everything.
Well,
I mean, that's science.
As far as this particular risk,
this is
all they're really asking people to do is just update the app, and they said a few people will be signed out, and they'll need to re-enter their username and passwords. But I mean, it was one person that was compromised. They're just getting out ahead of it. I don't know. I don't see a big problem yet.
Well, what if you have a bunch of offline playlists that have to be re-downloaded? Is that a problem? Who cares? I don't even use Spotify.
I was gonna say
Google Play Music user myself. I don't want to sound like a snob.
Yeah, I don't really use Spotify anymore, but I mean it was really popular, isn't it like the number three streaming music service?
That's
so
what he into it, wasn't he? I feel like I remember hearing Seth talk about it a lot back when we first started the show.
Yeah. So I mean, just public service announcement. But it is one of those things. Like I sort of wonder in the back of my head, is this going to like quickly devolve into we've lost everybody's credit card numbers and call your bank?
Well, actually, and some good news for you, Eric. It says Apple and Windows Phone users do not need to take any action at this time. Windows Phone users, that's
because there's no Windows Phone app.
No freaking Spotify app. Oh, man. They say in this article on PC Mag that Spotify recently topped 10 million paid subscribers and announced a new integration with popular DJ app DJ2.
I've never heard of that.
Never. I don't. Okay. Well, good job, Spotify. Security, right? I feel like people just rush to get something out, a la Silicon Valley, as we've been watching all that ridiculously awesome show. But I
watched the first episode of that last night.
Finally,
it was awesome.
So good, Eric. You have to get caught up. Oh my goodness,
it's cringeworthy.
We need a new podcast just for that. But I feel like people rush. You know, they do UI aesthetic stuff. They get it working, but they completely shove any type of like security to the side as like an afterthought. And the more and more these apps are like integrated into our lives, that's kind of an important part to keep all of this data secure, you know? They're big targets.
Yeah, I think especially if you run a service that utilizes people's payment information,
right?
You have to at least start the planning phase with security in mind, or else nobody's going to trust you. The first breach that you have, unless you're a Sony, to where you have so much money and so many things that people just want, and you can recover quickly, you're screwed.
Any of you guys use Spotify? Nick, you use Spotify at all?
No, I'm pretty much Google Play still.
All access?
Yep.
Nice. That, I don't know, man. It's been such a great experience, like I got this car from my roommate. I bought his car, and I put just no CD player, just a Bluetooth head. I think it's like a Pioneer, just the Bluetooth deck. And like having that, I mean, I just had, you know, the work truck and stuff, so I would listen to it in the crappy radio there. But like having Google Play All Access on there and just being able to like drive around, and I just remember like back in the day having this giant thing of CDs, right, with 4 and 2 and 2, right, and it was like you would dislocate your shoulder getting it out of the back seat and then put it on your lap, and it's like trying to drive. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Having it on the phone and having these commands, I can just be like, hey, Google, play this, and it does it. And it all works, like, surprisingly well. I'm very impressed. I've never, like, got into the side of, like, car audio and everything. And, like, the Bluetooth integration into these decks is pretty decent. It glitches every now and then to where I have to turn the car off to kill the deck and then turn it on again. It'll, like, if you try and use the speak to type, if you hit the mic, it'll like mute the music and then let you talk, but then it won't play. It acts like it's playing the music, but it's muted. So I don't know. That might just be a Bluetooth glitch or something in the Pioneer. But the overall experience is cool.
It takes me back to my Froyo days where we have to restart the phone. Except the phone is your car.
I totally was too. I was like probably 20 miles from home, and I was like trying to hit red lights, so I had enough time to kill it and start it again. It was
just pop it in neutral and just off, baby.
I should have. All right. Speaking of, what is this Sony dock thing? This is kind of cool. I don't know if I would buy it per se. I would review it. I definitely wouldn't buy it. I don't know, $250. I feel like that's kind of pricey, but it's Sony, right?
I don't think I would buy it either, but yeah, it's a doubled in, which if folks don't know, it's it's the big, when you have the car stereo that's like yay big instead of yay big, and it NFC pairs your Sony phone automatically, and you basically just use the phone as your stereo.
Actually, what? I would consider getting this. I'm looking for something along the lines, and I think this looks familiar. We may have seen it at the last CES, but. Yeah, this would be pretty cool. You can, I guess, use a tablet or a smartphone for it and essentially turn that into your car stereo. Because right now I've got the stock stereo in my car, and it's not terrible. I mean, it's not good. It's pretty terrible. So this would be a good alternative.
So does
I had an Nexus 7.
Does this work with any phone, or is that the head? Like, are you putting your phone in there to dock it? Like
it's like a holder. You can it'll hold your tablet if it's not too big, or your smartphone.
You can't put a Moto X in there or something, right? It has to be the Sony phone, or is it adjustable for different phones?
It looks like it's adjustable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use it for any phone.
You think?
Yeah, they even say it in the article that it will work with all phones, but I mean, if we don't have NFC, that part's not going to work. You'd have to pair the Bluetooth manually.
Yeah.
And it even has a USB port for charging.
That's nice.
Look at that.
Yeah, back in the day before I sold my Camaro, I had the Nexus 7 modification for it, where I basically used this Nexus 7 plus whatever you call it, this holder. I don't know why my brain's not working. But anyways, but this would essentially mount my Nexus 7 to the stereo. So it's pretty cheap, but for $15 to have essentially,
It's a case, Nick. I believe the word you're looking for is case.
Case, that word, with the 4 letters and the C at the beginning and at the end. That one.
Okay.
So that was my ghetto setup, but it worked just fine because my stereo was brand new and my tablet would sync with it, or my smartphone. So that looks like it's a much more elegant solution than a hack like this. So I'm interested.
But is it $250 elegant? Like,
how good the stereo is.
If it had its own faceplate that was touchscreen that used screencast, so that you could have your phone, but you wouldn't have to touch the thing. It would just screencast automatically, and on the screen, all of a sudden your phone showed up with all of your it's mirroring your phone. That would be cool. But I don't, it's a glorified dock, and like they say in the article, it's basically a glorified.
Well, how much did you pay for yours?
My deck was like $150.
Yeah, I paid $200 for my stereo.
But it's got the detachable faceplate and everything. When I have the phone within Bluetooth range, on the LEDs it says what I'm listening to and all that, and you can control it next track back on Google Music from the deck and everything. But okay. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do something like this and use your phone, it would be cool to not have to touch it. Because one of the crappy things, I know it's stupid to complain about, but putting your phone in and out of the dock all the time and doing it with this, it's kind of a pain. And for that much money, it should just have its own, just a screen basically, right? It's a touch screen.
I would prefer that personally, but I've had a hard time finding that. I've looked at the local Fry's and Best Buy for really an Android.
Well, nobody's
stereo
like that, right? Casting is so new. I don't think it's made it into any of this. This debuted a year ago, right, at CES. So it's
yeah.
This needs to drop to 150 max before it.
Sure.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Sure it's Sony, so I'm sure all of the audio components inside of it. I'm sure it sounds really good. I just for that, I don't know. I'm not that much of an audiophile in my car. I went with the cheapest deck that did what I basically wanted it to do, but I don't know. I feel like there's better out there for around $250, in the Kenwoods and stuff like that, than what this is.
Let's put this in Sony perspective. You can get a Vita with a bunch of games for this price. You can almost get a PlayStation 4.
Could you hook up your Vita and PlayStation 4 to this? Have, the complete car.
Cool.
I would play Need for Speed in the car on the. Oh man, that'd be great.
You can just see just sort of pushing the PlayStation 4 up against it to get it to pair. be awesome.
It like reaches out like. Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, we didn't even get a chance at the top of the show to talk about this. Eric wanted to introduce us to the dog who got to take a trip on a wingsuit. And I mean,
this is where you're going.
I don't want to jump all over Eric's flair here, so I'm just gonna. Whoop, that's not it. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna just show you this. Here's the picture, and I'm gonna let Eric take it away. Eric, go.
Okay, so I mean, apparently Matt needs to install his plugin, but this is a dog that was bundled up all nice and tight, put on some pretty sweet goggles, and was strapped onto the back of, I'm assuming, his owner or somebody who just stole him. Strapped on his back, and he jumps off a cliff, and they float away on the wingsuit.
I wonder if they had to like do some sort of extra reinforcing to the wingsuit for the added weight of the dog, because it's not like you put a Chihuahua on there. I mean, that's like a probably 30, 40-pound dog, you know.
Yeah. And this looks like the thing was made for a dog, because it's just like it's a little hole. It looks like a backpack with just a little hole for a head.
Would you fly in one of those? Would you fly like that?
Hell no.
Hell no.
Kidding me?
Not any location on that device, apparently, would you fly on that, yeah.
And Eric, I don't need to install my plugin. I like it when it asks me. And I'm also running NoScript, because I'm running Firefox
for the
first time in, like, ever. And it handles Hangouts a lot better, I'll tell you. And it doesn't skip on Google Play Music. Like, if I go to search something in Chrome, it'll, like, totally skip music, like, glitch and stuff, because there's just not enough memory on this thing. Firefox handles it better. But there was like ads and crap, and so I went through it and like tightened it down with no script.
So you made it unusable.
I got ad block plus. I don't care about Flash.
Why don't you just run links, you retard?
I should start doing that again.
I
got ad block plus. I got click to play the plugin. If I want it, I can click it and it'll play it. I like it to ask though. Flash is very not secure.
No, it's fine. It's no problem.
Flash is like my ex, very, very insecure. Let's just move on.
Wow.
Did you sell your N1 and get a Moto X 64 gig? Yes. I'm going to say yes. I wish I had a 64 gig Moto X.
Yeah,
right?
I'm at the point where I'm this close to getting a Moto X whenever I get enough money to do so, because it's so tempting to get that phone. I'm not sure I'd get the 64 gig version, because however much extra it would cost, a 16 gig would do me fine, but man, it's so tempting to get.
No, it wouldn't. Nick,
that.
I have the 16.
Nick.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh.
32 is a minimum nowadays. We've discussed this. This is fact.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I'm curious if the 64 gig, if that code is meant for the X or if it's meant for the X plus one.
No, good point.
Because they're already talking about it. So like I made that comment in the doc, and then I went to the Motorola site, and I'm like, I'm gonna price it out and just see. And no, it's not there yet. So maybe it's for the X1.
Yeah. You know, speaking of the X plus one, what exactly is that? Is that just gonna be, hey, here's the Moto X, and you can also get this, smartwatch at the same time, or what?
When I hear the name, I'm very, very scared that it's going to be like when the Droid X and then the X2 came out, and remember how terrible that was. And rooting and ROMing it was like such a pain because of what they did with the bootloader and the chipset, and it was just a horrendous experience, right? I hope that's not what this is. I understand that Lenovo is in charge now, and it's not that same Motorola from back, however long ago that was. But it just, when you say X plus one, it means we've taken the one you have and done minor things to it.
We plussed it.
We plus one it, guys. It's cool. It's on Google Plus. You should follow it in a circle.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, well, hopefully, because something like this is probably in the works for maybe a year or more, that it's not diluted. Maybe it's something really good. Whatever Motorola's been doing the last year is going to be continued with the X plus one, but I have no idea what it is, to be honest. So.
Nick, it's like we're thinking the same thoughts, because I was also going to say it's been in the pipeline for a while. So I doubt that aside from small things that Lenovo would have probably messed with that formula. The same as how we were getting all these really sort of subpar Motorola phones for the first 6 months of Google owning it, because it's in the pipeline already. You really can't mess with it unless you're pushing software updates to lock it down. That'd probably be like our biggest fear.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Lenovo keeps Motorola as its own company, because that's a way of Lenovo having an in essentially into the American market, because Lenovo phones don't sell over here, but Motorola phones do, at least better than Lenovo phones. So hopefully they'll keep that, but we'll see how that goes.
I like how we sold off like two of. I mean, there's a lot of American companies, but we sold off like two really, really great brands with Lenovo and Motorola. It's kind of sad to me.
Well, and if you go back, there was an article. It was back in February on Android Community talking about Motorola saying that the new Moto X and a smartwatch is coming later this year. So they said in the article that it was this summer, and it's almost summer. It's like 65, 70 degrees here, So we might be getting close to it, but who knows? These are just like things that were picked up from Twitter and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see. I want a new one. I hope they wait for another year, though, so when my contract is ready I can flip the upgrade switch and keep my unlimited data one more time. I think I'm going to exceed the amount of lines on our plan before.
Yeah, since I'm not personally bound by like a smartphone contract, I'm getting close to the point. Yeah, I'm getting close to the point where I just want to grab another phone. But I'm close to the point where I want to get another phone. I just haven't decided what. So I was real close to getting a Nexus 5. I'm really close to getting a Moto X, but I got to get something at some point. So right now I'm waiting for whatever happens at Google I/O to make a decision then. But I have no idea when the next Nexus smartphone is going to come, if ever, or what's going on. So I'm sort of in the lurch at the moment. So I'm still on my Nexus 4.
Nice. I guess we can keep with some rumors. Also during CES, Google, they formed this Open Automotive Alliance thing with what? It was Honda, Audi, Hyundai, and so there was this rumor out. I think Andrew Please had the story. They give it a 7 out of 10 on the confidence level that Google's Android in the car interface will be functionally close to what they have here. What do you guys think? I having a car dock now and stuff, I wish it did more in the interface than just turn everything sideways and give me like sleep clock. I don't know. It would be cool to get a more fluid use out of what it can do for you in the vehicle.
Did you watch the little video clips that were in there?
No, I don't feel like activating Adobe Flash at the moment, so maybe later.
Okay, well, when you get around to it, like if you watch these clips...
Want to walk me through it? Did you watch them?
Yes, I did, because they're only like 10 seconds.
Tell us about them, Eric, please.
Okay, so there's some really oddly drawn pictures here, but basically it shows the sideways view, and then you have skip, pause, skip, and like one of them is simulating making a phone call, and you see the little, sort of like when you do a Google Now search, the little microphone pops up, and you say, call Liam Spradlin or whatever, Spradlin, and then like it looks very Google Now-ish, or it's definitely borrowing from the current design aesthetic.
Well, and that's good, right? You have the watch, the glass, the cards. Now all of that can be in your car on that same kind of, because it's big, it's easy to touch, you don't have to really take your eyes off the road, it can talk to you. I mean, all of this stuff is kind of, it's not made for the car, but it's kind of made for the car,
I think this looks really good. I'm hoping that this isn't just like some proof of concept or something, some BS that somebody mocked up themselves.
And again, it's a rumor, so we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, but if this is a fake, it's a very well done fake.
We hope.
Yeah, just look at them.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I would be just fine if it's just Android in the car. So it'd be interesting to see what this tangent is like.
I think just Android in the car might be a little difficult for like most consumers. Like Android is way too busy. This is simple. It actually reminds me a little bit of I don't know why. It could just be because it's like one singular thing at a time. But the Google Glass interface, like maybe they've taken some lessons learned from that as far as like how to make a simple interface, like really simple, like one or two things at a time, that that is a good customer experience. So I don't know. Like I said, it is very Google Now-ish, which I like. You know, if I can get like the little card that says like, "Are you going to work? Would you like directions?"
That one needs to be there all the time. Yeah.
Would you like me to send you a car to drive you to work?
Would you like me to call Uber?
I will send the driver.
That's right. Speaking of Google Now, I really didn't. People were making a big deal out of this, and I wasn't really excited about it. Apparently, there was like a problem to where you couldn't set a timer in Google Now just by telling it to, hey Google, set a timer. You couldn't do that, but now you can.
When you would do that, you would say, "Remind me in 5 minutes or something to do this." What it would do is actually set an alarm. So then, if you did that a bunch. I think this is what they're talking about. I don't know. I didn't read it yet. But when you would do that a bunch, you would get a bunch of alarms in. And if you use your phone as your alarm clock, like we do, you have like 20 alarms in there. So they finally designed it or fixed it to where now it's actually using the countdown timer. You can say set a timer for 5 minutes, and it'll actually not set an alarm for whatever time it will be in 5 minutes, but it gives you the countdown timer, says 5 minutes, and you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it didn't. I tried this last night because I was baking cookies because I'm domestic like that, and I didn't want to set the timer on the oven because I mean that's stupid.
It's 2014, so, Eric. What?
I mean, come on.
What year are you living in?
I just want to tap my forearm and have like boop 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 and have the timer come up. So you have to say set a timer for. Like if you say 10 minutes, you have to say set a timer for 10 minutes from now. Because if you just say set a timer for 10 minutes, then it pulls up the stupid alarm, stuff, and it's stupid.
Okay, Google Now. Okay, Google Now. Okay, Google Now.
Enhance.
Set a timer for 5 minutes.
And did it bring up like some menu, like you have to choose something?
Nope. Booyah.
What?
Setting the timer. I know, it's terrible.
It didn't work for me last night.
Look, look.
Stupid.
Boom. Are we counting down? Are we counting down?
No, we're not.
You're a liar. You're a liar. We are too. Look at it. It worked. Thank you, Google. That's awesome. You only have to say it like 8 times before it's like, oh, I'm sorry, were you talking to me? It like sets the pipe down. It's like blowing smoke out. It's like, oh, did you need me? Set a timer for how long? Okay.
Dude, be patient.
Jesus. Dude, chill out. You have like 5 minutes, bro. But that's cool. And I mean, we're going to see a lot of this stuff that like as you use it, you're like, man, I wish it would do this. And then like a month or two down the road, it's like, oh, hey, it now does this. So.
But why are people wetting themselves over it? They're just like so excited.
Who is?
I set a timer for Christ's sake.
But that's helpful. I'll tell you what. I was doing a little cake baking of my own in the kitchen, and it is very helpful. You don't have to. No, I was really. It was my roommate's birthday and stuff. We were baking tie-dye cake. But anyway, it was cool not having to touch the phone. You just have to yell at it. Okay, Google Now, like 8 times, and then when it clicks, then you can tell it what to do.
Just keeps getting smarter every day.
Is both a curse and a gift.
Oh, well.
Let's see. The Moto E review, you want to talk about that? We kind of talked about that last episode, not last week, but the week before. That's the cool low-cost Moto X-ish phone.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, there's really two low to medium end phones out there that Motorola is selling. You know, they got the Moto G that they announced a few months ago, and now the Moto E that they announced, 2 weeks and change ago. And so far, a lot of the reviews out there have been positive. You know, they keep it in context. It's a $130 phone, that you get free and unlocked off contract, and it's, about $130 worth. But realistically, in terms of the space of what phones you tend to pick up for $130, those are like your flip phones, your dumb phones, your
burner phones, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's not bad. So, and they've got another version of it coming out. They're like the ones that have been out now have been like just GSM only, but there's going to be like another one with 3G. I can't remember the standard that it uses. So, I don't know, it's pretty decent. 4.3
I was just very
screen.
surprised.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just very surprised at how positive the Verge was on it, because most of the time when you see reviews for these phones, people are doing a direct comparison to, of the $130 phone retail to the phone that retails for $700.
Yeah, and you can't do just because this just came out. Well, so did the S5. Let's look at it spec by spec. It's like, no, you have to find the phones in that cost area.
Well, the interesting thing about this is, no other manufacturer like Samsung or HTC, they're not making big commercials and big presentations for low-end to medium-end phones. They're only doing that for their flagships. And here Motorola comes out with a nicely done, like 20 or 30-second advertisement of this phone, Gorilla Glass 3, and made for everyone and all that kind of stuff. High production value on advertisements for this phone. That itself is unique. So,
am I wrong that doesn't this have a? I mean, it only has 4 gigs of storage, but didn't they put an SD card slot in this?
Yes, and it'll do up to 32 gigs, I think, of storage, maybe even more. But I know at least it'll do 32 gigs of storage, and it's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 200, which is the first phone I've seen with that. But that's pretty decent for what you're getting. So, I mean, actually, it's the same price as the Nokia X, and that doesn't have 3G capability and runs, of course, a crappy version of Android that's made to look like Windows Phone, and that is like Android 4.1.2, and this is 4.4 KitKat, the latest version. So.
You said that the Nokia X does not have 3G?
Correct.
Like 3 generate?
Yeah, it's mostly for overseas use. It's dual SIM though, but it's
most countries have 3G.
I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a lot of bands. Like I was looking at it.
Like it's not going to work on CDMA, but it will on GSM. What are you talking about?
It is a global phone, but.
Right.
It's not actually supposed to be sold in America, although you can buy it and have it shipped here. So.
I think Republic Wireless was offering one of those. Was it the G or the E? It was probably the G, if that's one that's been out for a while.
They were offering the X.
Also, right. But I mean, as far as the lower end one.
Oh, really? Oh, it's the G. Yeah, I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well.
Oh, I just looked. I stand corrected. It does have 3G, so the Nokia X.
I was gonna say, come on.
It just disconnects so much you would think that it doesn't. No, I have no idea. I've never used one. What would you pay for the Moto 360? Definitely not $250. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Well, it's somewhat comparable to
for a watch. Are you kidding me?
Well, it depends. Some people spend a lot more than that on a watch, but also
some people also eat their children and drive into the river. I don't know. People are. I'm not paying $250 for a watch. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, like the Pebble Steel is like 200 and change, for example, and that probably isn't going to have the features that this will. So.
This is pretty for sure. I just nah.
Well, and. Like we're saying where we got the 249 was, excuse me, was there were some contest rules that were for a Motorola contest that was put up on Google Drive, and in there it said like suggested retail price or something like that, 249 when referring to the value of if you won a Moto 360. So it could be less actually. Like if it could be a little less, but I'm guessing that it's probably going to be $299 or something. Maybe $249 is just, maybe that's their break even.
Yeah. A report that I heard yesterday that it was supposed to be like 249 euros, so it would be more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're trying to market it as a high-end option. So.
$100.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so real quick, since I apparently can't let this point go, the Nokia X, it'll do HSDPA, so the max speed it can transfer is 7.2 megs per second. I knew it wasn't
HSPA.
Okay.
Not HSPA. There's an older standard called HSDPA.
I'm just messing with you.
Okay, so yeah.
Wait, HSPA plus?
No.
Okay.
Like
GSM.
No.
Is it CDMA? Wi-Fi? I don't understand. But
the bottom line, don't get that phone.
The watch is pretty. This picture of the watch. Here, let me screen share with you all. I shouldn't be hoarding this beautiful imagery here. Boom. Look at that
phone. It's a beautiful phone.
Look at that phone watch thing.
So if it is 249 euros, that would equate to almost like $340.
Can we just say 360?
Oh.
That would be the worst marketing ever.
I took the Nate. Do you see?
I see what you did there.
That's right.
Marketing genius. Hire this man.
Right? That's what I'm saying. We'll make a podcast and talk smack about your crappy product on it. Pay me. Yep. Let's see. We haven't talked about CyanogenMod in a while. They got an easy install app for any ROM. I assume any rooted ROM? Or is this any? Can I do this on the Moto X? Let's see.
Yeah. It was not put out by CyanogenMod specifically. I think it was just made by somebody else. But the fact that all of these CyanogenMod like apps and widgets are open source, you could build them from source and sideload them or whatever.
Yeah,
but this person just wanted to be nice.
It says no root required, so that's cool.
Yeah. So it gives you access to Apollo, which is the music thing, Camera Next, which is not so good, Camera, Messaging, Voice Plus. I think out of all of these, just having access to like DSP Manager, which is really good, and Apollo is actually a decent music player. That's kind of.
I never really used Apollo. I didn't like. I think File Manager I used, but then I also used File Explorer because it did LAN and networking stuff between my computers here really well for SMB. Like you'd set up a little SMB server and Calculator. I'm a fan of that. I think that was an app pick at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back in the Joey days.
Trebuchet. I mean, I guess that's like the launcher, isn't it?
Yeah. I really didn't like Trebuchet.
Me neither, especially when it would say, "We're sorry, unfortunately, Trebuchet has stopped responding."
Exactly.
Really didn't like that. But I don't know. It's cool. It's a cool idea that you can like make this app that will fetch apps for you. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's neat.
It is neat.
But I mean, like you said, like when I was even now, like I don't run Trebuchet. I run Nova Launcher. Because I think it's a better, it's a more stable launcher, and I've loved Nova Launcher since, I've been using it since the original like ice cream sandwich release. It's just I keep coming back to it. So I don't know. Trebuchet is, I could take it or leave it.
Right on.
Yeah.
So was there something else about Nova Launcher you wanted to tell us about?
Oh, you stop that. You're ridiculous. Well, thank you, Matt, for that segue. Nova Launcher 3.0 beta numero uno, is now available if you are if you've signed up for the beta testing. Yeah.
I take it back. Hire this guy.
Jeez. Do you know how long I was planning that setup?
No, I know. I watched you. I watched the gears turn. So, are you using Launcher 3 beta, or are you just using the stable, or what?
I just updated before the show to beta because that's how I roll, I guess. living dangerously.
Beta, I mean, if I'm not beta testing something, I'm just not living.
Thank you. Right.
I'm not paying $1,500 to beta test something. I'm just not living. I mean, am I right or am I right?
Okay, see that? Oh God, do you see it? There it is, beta. Nothing's broken yet. I really don't see the difference.
So I installed it, and well, nothing broke yet. So I gave it 5 stars. That's totally cool.
I think I have to mess with it. Like they say that like things that they've changed, or you can like add like custom label colors inside of the dock and stuff. And I think you have to seek out like it's not cosmetic changes just right off the bat. I think you have to actually dig and look for the new features. But yeah, that's great. I don't know.
Right on.
I thought it was a more exciting story when I put it in the doc, and then when I say it out loud, I kind of feel like a douchebag. So
that's okay.
Sorry
No,
about that.
People need to know about other launchers and stuff. I think that's good. I've personally never used Nova, but I've heard great. Heard really.
This version has individual toggle widget padding.
That's pretty exceptional. Personally, I like that I have a phone that I don't have to do that, and like the launcher is just legit, and I don't need to go out and I don't need to stray too far from home, if you know what I mean. I'm just saying, this guy's also for sale.
I don't have to stray from home, but I mean this home's nicer.
But when I do, I choose Nova launcher.
Thank you.
I don't always stray from. Oh wow! I don't always stray from 127.0.0.1, but when I do. All right. Let's see. Allcast now letting you stream from Android to Android. I'm not even gonna ask if it's playing MKVs or anything yet.
Probably not.
I gave up on that. I really don't even care. I'd rather come out here to the studio and watch stuff anyway, so F it,
That's because you're lonely.
No, I bring everybody out here. We all see all the chairs.
It forces them. You're going to watch this and you're going to enjoy it.
These are usually, we just kick it in front of this little widescreen here and
come on, guys, let's go to the studio. Ignore the smell.
Come on, guys, Cosmos is on. Let's go to the studio and watch it because we can't Chromecast it. Oh man, life is good.
This is kind of neat though that this started out as just a Chromecast thing, and now like even the casting between one another is not using the Chromecast. It's not using Chromecast technology. He just wrote his own thing, and it's streaming from one device to another.
Can I also tell you what else is cool that doesn't work? When you have this, and you know how there's a thing here when it's on Wi-Fi that'll say cast screen? That also doesn't work at all. It just says could not cast screen, and I'm like, okay, well, thanks.
Is that supposed to work? Like, I remember that showed up in Android.
Yeah, why would it be there, though?
I don't know, because Google does stupid crap like that sometimes, to where they're just like, oh, it's just a beta.
It's just a tile, bro. It's just like taking up a section in your screen here.
Does that make you mad? Like, are you calculating the battery loss of like having to draw that section of the screen?
No, not at all. I would appreciate if you're going to put a button on my device and make it do something that it like did something more than just test your error message.
Why? That's what Windows Phone does.
When I first saw it, that is not fair, you son of a bitch. When I first saw it, though, like, I got excited. I was like, oh, cool, I bet this is awesome. And then I did it, and then nothing happened. I was like, well, that was freaking stupid.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know why they put that in
You know what? Honestly, now I'm not even seeing it. So maybe they got rid of it.
Yeah. I don't know, I saw it the other
literally
day.
not there anymore. Yeah. All right, whatever. Let's do your app pick, Eric, and wrap this up.
Matt, can we talk about one more story? Just one more. Please, I beg you. Okay. The one thing that I just wanted to talk about, and we may have talked about it before, is that there is a game system out. It ain't an Ouya, but it is powered by Android, and it's called the Retron 5.
I remember this.
Yeah, we have talked about it. That's good.
So you guys may remember that this thing supports playing Nintendo, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Genesis, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced, all with the original cartridges, and it can output it to I think it does upscaling and stuff, 720p via HDMI, and it supports the original controllers if you still have those around. This is awesome. It just became available.
Yeah, apparently $140, and that's cheaper than I expected. I remember us talking about it, and I don't think there was a price back then. So this is pretty cool.
It was supposed to be $99.
Than this.
But go ahead, Matt.
I say it doesn't get much better than this.
Yeah.
No.
It's called
the problem.
Retron 5, which is pretty much the best name coming from my vast background in marketing. That's pretty much the best name you could have given it. Retron 5. I mean, the number is perfect. The 2 syllables is perfect. The R and the N. It's Tron. It's It's retro. It's on. I mean, it's everything.
It's 5.
It's 5. I like it. I want like 10 of them.
Now the problem is that they were only distributing like to like mom and pop video game stores.
Like GameStop?
Yeah, like GameStop, the mom and pop store of everybody. So I called around to a few places like back home just to see. Nobody had them. And
did anyone know what they were?
Yeah, no, everyone that I called, every independent like comic book or video game store. So, but it is very cool, and just I have a huge collection of like old video games, and it's beginning to become a pain to have to hook up these old systems to newer TVs. So I don't know, for $140 it seems like a great deal. Great deal. You also can play old games.
I like it. I also like playing them on emulators, but that would be way better.
Well, I was reading. I think that what this does is like it has like some like middle, like I think it dumps the ROM when you put the cartridge in. I think it dumps the ROM into memory and then it runs it off of an emulator. Like that's where the Android part comes in.
So I'm saying like you get the controller, you get to hook it up through an RF receiver to your coax cable and the TV. Like you get the whole experience. Probably gets a solder stuff. It's awesome. All right. Anything else you want to talk about? The new Sonos lets you get 6 months of Google Play Music All Access if you don't already have it. Yep. If people don't know, tell them what a Sonos is, real quick.
Nick, you want to take this? I know what it is, but I just
anybody
want to
know what? Not because I don't know, but because I want to hear it from you.
Okay, you know what? Fine, you jerk. It's a wireless speaker system.
Oh, that's cool.
You're so mean to me.
I'm sorry, Eric. Do you have one? Do you want one for Christmas? Do you want one for your birthday?
I don't know. When I actually have like a home of my own again, like I think it'd be neat. But this stuff is so expensive. Like just for one, I mean, the cheapest piece is $200, and you're gonna probably spend $2,000 to outfit a small home.
Yeah.
$2,000. But hey, then you're not paying that $9.99 a month. So
if you're in the market for a wireless, sound system, then this would be an option. So
I want a wireless sound system that is attached to like quadcopters that just basically follow you around your house. So you don't have like room theater sound per se, but you have sound in every room because they're like right there. Kind of like headphones, but like flying,
Much more ornate solution, yeah.
Yeah, right? And
is this like when Peter Griffin got his own walking music?
Yes. You got me. Damn it. All right, tell us what your app pick is, and I'll tell you what mine is.
My app pick is something called WebGet. I found this out of necessity because I've started doing the show notes, and Matt will send me links, and because Android is stupid sometimes, I'll tap the link, and it'll say, what do you want to open this in? Chrome? Browser? And so then
Can I open it in the camera?
It comes up with some stupid choice. I don't remember what it is, but like there's like one thing that just doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't work anyway because I tried it. But every time like I select the link for the MP3 file, it tries playing it in the browser. And it's like, no, you silly machine, I want to download this. So I got this app called WebGet, which is free, and it's very simple. You just choose the target folder, and then you give it the URL that you want to download, and then you tap download.
Nice.
And it downloads it.
Is this the same WebGet from PC back in the day? I feel like there was like an app that like you could type that and it would like fetch, or WGet. Maybe that's
WGet.
Okay,
I think it might be using WGet. I have Terminal Emulator on my phone, and that's what I was doing. I was just going in there and typing WGet, and then this is just simpler, and it probably is using WGet.
That's cool. It sounded WebGet I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going on a limb here.
That
might be the point of the name.
I validate your app pick.
Possibly. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Nick, do you have an app pick?
No.
Me neither. Go outside. There's my app pick.
Seriously?
No.
I don't want to like just recommend some just stupid game because I have to like get an app pick. Like I feel very positive in the last 125 episodes that you can outfit your phone with every single app you will ever need.
No.
I was gonna say, what's changed?
No.
I'm so confused.
Right? We found some fun games, but I don't know.
Some fun games like Pinochle?
Like
Perhaps?
God of Light?
Like Pinochle?
Like Pinochle?
God of Light.
Yeah, I think that was my app pick a few weeks ago. I don't know.
Oh well.
Overloaded. I will say, the new Google Plus app looks really nice. Did we get a chance to talk about that? There's my app pick. Update your Google Plus app and check that out. It's got the little red here. Can I show you? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Give you a little. Can I give you a little?
I'm talking to the producer. He's saying it's fine.
Am I getting the go ahead? Do we have time? All right. Let me get the latest here. Oh, and look, it's Aunt Pruitt and some dumbbells.
Stop that.
Go figure. No
right
way.
At the top of the feed. I +1 that shit.
Do it.
That's cool. It's red, but it disappears. You see the top there? All right. See? And you start scrolling, and it disappears.
Yeah, it behaves just like Chrome.
The full immersive effect.
My God, Matt, how much did you pay for that app?
You know, Eric,
Pay
some
money.
people would
I would
say
pay a lot of it.
I would pay $19.99. Some people would say $39.99. Some people may even say $59.99. Can I get a hallelujah? Eric, I'll tell you right now, this app, you can get it in all of its luster and glory for free.
Shut up.
That's right, for
Come
free.
on.
For free. I do like, I'll tell you, I'll be serious for a second. I do like, if you can see, you see down here, I don't know, it's hard to see. But when you scroll, a little like edit thing comes up, see this little dot? And you hit that, and that'll take you to the new make a post screen. And I like what they did with that. I know, this is terrible to see. Download it and look at it, and you'll see what I'm talking
All
about.
you audio listeners, you're missing so much.
Oh, I know. It's awesome, though. I like it. So,
All right, what Google app is your app pick, Nick?
Google Plus.
Google Plus as well.
Brought to you by Hangouts. I really like what they've done with the latest Hangout update.
Oh, we need to stop. We need to go.
No, this is good. This is good.
I mean,
back and forth.
Go on is what I meant.
You should go on.
Mm-hmm.
So is that it?
Yeah. Hey, Eric, what's our email address? Well, Matt, our email address is show@attackoftheandroids.com.
Thanks for listening. We're on Stitcher, attackoftheandroids.com. That's our site, so check it. Or don't. Whatever.
Wow. No,
All right.
no, check it out. Don't listen to him. Check it out.
Definitely check it out. Tell your friends if they have Android, if they like Android, if they just want to hear a couple of nerds just talk about it. It's cool. It's totally cool.
Yeah. And seriously, send us an email because we're lonely.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.